In our video about the essential you, we talked about values, vision, and purpose. Now I want to talk a little bit about intention. So how do you make a vision come alive? Well, you use intention. The vision is where you're going, and the intention is the direction and the energy that you use in order to get you to that vision endpoint. Your intention can be for something as big as your life or your business. It can also be for something as small as a quick team meeting, a conversation with your child, or a project that you're working on. Intention's happening all the time or not. So for example, what's your intention for watching this video? What are you intending to get out of this? What do you want to have happen that's going to be different because you watched this video than if you hadn't watched it at all? So notice that we're always having an impact, and we always have the ability to create intentional impact, and creating that vision and creating that impact, it always comes back to how intentional I'm going to be about it. The clearer and more conscious we are about what this intention is, the more power we have to make it become a reality. Here's the thing. If it's not a conscious intention, then the unconscious intention wins. And this happens all the time. And this is where I see people get really, really, really busy. The default intention tends to be more of an unconscious, unfocused path, more of a life is happening to me path, versus the conscious and focused intention, I get to happen to my life. What's more, when teams aren't focused and clear on their intentions, when they don't have shared intentions, that's where undue stress and tension tends to start to gather. So what you want to do is very simple, to sit down and really think with your team about what are your intentions, what are the intended outcomes you're going for, from everything from how a project's going to go and agreements of how you're going to work together, to things as simple as how you're going to agree to disagree and how you're going to navigate through conflict. For creating intended outcomes, you're going to want to check out the 5 Steps to Intentional Impact video on the IEP platform. You can also download the virtual presence tool from our website, as well as take a look at the Crafting Intentional Impact module on the IEP school platform. In the meantime, what you can do is we can just do a really quick recap around the 5 steps to intentional impact. So the first step to intentional impact is you have to know what outcomes you want to create, period. What do you want to get out of this meeting or this conversation or whatever you're walking into? Know your outcomes. Number 2, you need to know what kind of emotional impact you want to have on the people that you're working with. Whoever's in that conversation with you, what is the emotional impact you want to have? Number 3, how are you going to have to show up in order to create that impact? How are you going to have to show up? What's your energy going to have to be? What's your posture? How are you just going to have to show up? Number 4, what are you going to have to believe in order to show up that way that's going to support you so that you're congruent in your presence? Number 5, what are you going to have to do in order to make these things happen? What actions will you have to take? What kind of follow-up are you going to need to do with your team in order to make the intentional impact happen? So you need all 5. You can't just do 3 of them, can't just do 2 of them. If you put all 5 together, that's going to get you towards that intentional impact much, much more quickly. Let's talk about if you're feeling conflicted. This is all great and fine and dandy, but the question I get from people is, what if I don't know the intentions I have? What if I don't know the outcomes I want to create? Awesome. That's great. Awareness of that is the first step to go. So you don't want to make yourself wrong for it. You actually want to appreciate it and get curious about it. So here are the things that I find are happening for people when they're not clear about what they'd like or what their intended impact is. There's 5 different places to look. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, the first place you want to look is noticing if you're even aware of what you really want. Just noticing the number 1 reason why people get stuck and overwhelmed is they're not aware of what they want to have happen. Number 2, maybe you're unsure of what steps you need to take. You just don't know how. Number 3, you want it for the wrong reasons. The reasons that you're wanting it for, they're ego-driven, they're shoulds, they're just not really compelling with your soul. Number 4, it's somebody else's vision. It might be your mom's vision or your dad's vision or an old teacher's vision or your best friend's vision. It's not your vision. Number 5, you're afraid of failure and or success, because as much as people say they want success, a lot of times success can be harder and scarier, and you might even lose some friends along the way. So these 5 places to look when you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed around clarifying your intentions of what you want to create. And if you give yourself the gift of really looking at each of these and getting curious about it, you're going to find that next step that's going to allow you to step into a deeper level of intention. If any of these are true for you, fantastic. Now you've got more information than you did before. So set your intentions, get clear on what those actual intentions are, decide to go for it, and then step in. Ready? Go.